May we join our hearts in prayer. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, for you are our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. You have heard it said that women should be silent in church. You have heard that it was said that women should submit to their husbands. You have heard it said that women belong in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant. Tabitha heard that too, I'm sure. Yet she did not allow those voices or those expectations to stop her from hearing the voice of Jesus and knowing that he welcomed her as a disciple, just as Jesus welcomed children and men and all people. We know that widows in the days of Tabitha, and even in our days now, if we are honest, we're in a vulnerable place. When women are defined by men or by the men around them as a daughter, a wife, a mother, what happens when those roles change or cease to exist? On Tuesday mornings, our Bible study group has been studying bodacious women in the Bible. And Tabitha is named as one of those bodacious women. And the author of the book we're using defines bodacious as unmistakable, remarkable, noteworthy. Tabitha is named in the Bible by both her Hebrew and her Greek name, Dorcas. When so few women are named in the Bible, she has two names. She must have been seen as noteworthy and unmistakable. She is named as a disciple of Jesus, and it's the only occurrence in all of the scriptures where the feminine form of disciple is used. So let us not be mistaken. The early church saw Tabitha as a disciple. She was named and claimed as a follower of Jesus, and she lives that life. She has claimed the gifts that she can share with her community. She's known as being generous. She's known as providing for others. She makes these beautiful garments for widows and those in need. Tabitha sees the people whom others do not see or ignore, and she embodies how Christ cared for others, and she models that in her own generosity. Her lives are changed because of her care and generosity, and her life made a huge difference in the community, so that when she died, they were devastated. So many women define themselves as only. I am only a wife. I'm only a mother. I'm only a teacher. I'm only a gardener. I'm only a cook. I'm only a quilter. I've heard so many women say over the years, I am only a woman. Think of how many times we define ourselves by only, or I don't, or I can. I am only this. I am only that. I don't have money to give. I'm not educated. I'm too young. I'm too old. How can I possibly make a difference? Maybe this only and I don't and I can't attitude was floating around the early church, as it even is today. And maybe that's why Luke includes this story of the healing of Tabitha to remind the early church community and all of us coming after that we need to reframe how we see ourselves and our impact on the world. All of us have been given gifts by God that can be shared. All of us, men and women, youth and children, young and old, all of us have voices and roles and important parts to play in bringing about peace and justice and love in our community and indeed the whole world. Tabitha made a difference. She paid attention to the people around her and she cared for them. So when she dies, the community recognizes how valuable she is to their lives. I hope they did it before. You and I know that when someone dies, it's too late to tell them how much we care for them or the impact they've made on their life. But imagine these women wondering who would care for them after Tabitha is gone. They are weeping and crying. That's what we do in the church. That's what we do in the community. That's how we are the church. When we grieve, when we mourn, we come together. And you notice as the story is recorded, the community isn't trying to figure out how Tabitha died. They don't come up with some reason why she died, or they don't even come up with some of those stupid platitudes we say to each other, oh, it was her time, or heaven needed another angel. They honor her life and mourn her loss by crying and by remembering her. They say, look, she made this for me, and it was beautiful. It wasn't a cast-off. It wasn't what we might give to Goodwill. She made them beautiful garments, so beautiful that people admired her work. And when the community is grieving, those women knew they needed extra support. So they call for Peter, one of the disciples. He's in the next town over. And to Peter's credit, Peter doesn't say, tell those women I'm too busy, or Peter doesn't say, I don't have the right words to say at this moment. Peter comes and does what we do in the community of faith when we are grieving. We come. We are present with each other. We are present. We come. And Peter goes to Tabitha's body and does what we do in community. He prays. He prays. And his prayer that day is, Tabitha, get up. And by a miracle, she opens her eyes and she gets up. She will die someday, but not that day. Not that day. Tabitha is a witness to how we can live as a disciple of Christ. She took her gift of sewing, her gift of generosity, and she transformed the lives around her. Tabitha did not say, I'm only a widow, I can't do anything. I'm only a seamstress, I can't do anything. I have limited resources, don't ask me to do anything. Tabitha did what she could do, and she was honored and loved for her care. So on this Sunday, I'm inviting us not to only remember our mothers, but to remember and honor all women in their uniqueness, in their bodaciousness, in their ability to live out a call to discipleship. I want us to honor all women of the past and today and those in the future who will listen to their own hearts, and they will not let their voices be silenced, and they will not be placed in a box of someone else's making. No one is to keep silent, and especially not in the church. Let no one tell you you are an only. I'm only a boy, I'm only a kid, I'm too old, I'm only a girl, I'm only an old person. Don't let anyone let your voice be taken away. Claim your gifts as Tabitha claimed her gifts. Share those gifts in community. Each one of us can be those beloved disciples of Christ. We can make a difference in the world. We too can be a difference. Thanks be to God. Amen.